But these are all Brahmins.
Yeah.
Brahmins became Jains,
Yep.
and suddenly they started Sanskritization, everything.
Yeah.
All Prakrit has been translated into Sanskrit, destroyed. Anything you translate into, just as I was saying to this Marathi fellow who was translating the Vipassana, they call now. Original word is Vipassana. Is Sanskritized Vipassana. Now nobody knows the word Vipassana. Buddhists use only the Vipassana.
Yeah.
So Sanskritization means Brahmins have two things done. Every word has been Sanskritized, or it has been given a Sanskrit origin, something like that.
Right.
For instance, Karanja, where I live, Karanja is Karya Ranjana Pura. They will invent some such word for derivation. Karanja, Karya Ranjana Pura. Some such word. Moodabidri, my own place. Moodabidri. This is how fun they will be. Moodabidri. So they have a way of turning everything into Sanskrit. So Sanskritization of the names of the books and translating everything into Sanskrit, that way the original Pali. In the entire India, there is not a single Pali manuscript found. Not a single word of Pali Digha Nikaya found. When Sri Lanka you go, it's all in Pali, hundreds of manuscripts. So they wonder why is that Pali manuscripts should be found at least in Kerala or Madras, were close by from Sri Lanka, because there was a Buddhist Sangha in Chennai, in that area, and Sri Lankan monks used to come and go, and there was a Tamil branch of Sangha, but then once the Tamil Brahmins, Ayyars or Iyengar, whoever they are, they were not Ayyar Angar in those days probably, but they started translating everything into Sanskrit or into Tamil.
Yeah.
Finished. Original Pali was gone. Sanskritization became the obsession of the Brahmins. Everything has to be Sanskritized. Names of the places, names of the people, names of the granthas, everything translated into Sanskrit. This Sanskritization means the Prakrit, everything is gone, finished. All Apabrahmsha is gone, finished. I told you on phone how the Apabrahmsha works were discovered by Hiralal Jain only in Jaina temple library in Karanja. Naya Kumaracharya. See if there is a book called Naya Kumaracharya, as well as the names of the books and chapters. Turn chapter after chapter, like Digha Nikaya becomes Dirgha Agama. Majjhima Nikaya becomes Madhyama Agama. Sanyukta Agama. Like that. And then translate everything into Sanskrit. And that was not good Sanskrit also. It was therefore, Egerton came to say it's a hybrid Sanskrit.
Buddhist Hybrid Sanskrit.
It's Prakrit Sanskrit. It was not correct Sanskrit at all. So they were trying to do it Sanskrit, but they did not have enough Sanskrit knowledge to do it in the correct way, because not all Prakrit words can be translated into Sanskrit correct way.
Right.
There are many Deshi words
Totally.
to which they invented all sorts of things.
Right.
And so therefore, Egerton has 3 books called the Buddhist Hybrid Sanskrit, a text, grammar, and vocabulary, something like that. So from that he said that there was a time when all the Buddhist sutras were translated into Sanskrit, and so the Pali was gone, and Sanskrit was forgotten because nobody is going to read it. Those who made it for a generation or so, it remained finished. Then they did not read it. They did not read. Their idea was not to preserve it, Sanskritize it, because they had nothing else to do. That was the way they could earn their living. Brahmins, what should they do? So this is a contract basis. If you do this, I will give you this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so they impress people that there is a merit in doing Sanskrit.
Right.
Probably. And so this is how it happens.
So what you're saying is interesting in the sense that, I mean, in this process, this is also where arguably many Desi, Pali, whatever words
completely gone.
Entered into Sanskrit.
Oh, that's a possibility. That's another one, yeah.
So this brings up a big question that I've always had, and I'd be curious to get your thoughts. Sakala Bhasha Janani Sanskritam, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everything comes from Sanskrit. Every language.
Everything goes into Sanskrit.
Yeah,
also.
Exactly. That's my point. We have an idea that Sanskrit is here and everything came from that.
Oh,
Prakrit came from that. Apabrahmsha came from Magadhi came from that.
That's
later
right.
on Hindi, later on Marathi.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the contrary, it's the other way around.
Exactly. That's how I feel. That Sanskrit is one dialect that was formalized.
That was gone in the Vedic period.
Yeah.
The Vedas were the dialect of the Sanskrit. But it was not called Sanskrit in those days. Sanskrit was the word used only after Panini.
Right.
Panini made it Sanskrit. Sanskrit means cultivated, regularized,
Refined.
refined. After Panini only is Sanskrit word.
Right.
Before that there is no Sanskrit word at all.
Right.
So before there is Arsha.
Yeah.
Arsha language.
Yeah.
Rishi Pranita,
Yeah.
Rishi from
Yeah.
Arsha. So the word Sanskrit also does not appear.
And even the Vedic Sanskrit he called Chandas.
Chandas. So there is a distinction made.
Yeah.
You know, whatever was language used at that time of Panini was not Sanskrit,
Right.
but he called it Sanskrit after the grammar was written.
Right.
That anything, all the rules, now Gama Gacha for an ever and end.
Yep.
And it can't be anything Gama Gocha.
Yeah.
It has to be Gacha.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Fixed it. Froze it.
That's Sanskrit finished.
Yeah.
Therefore, like Latin, Sanskrit doesn't change.
Yeah.
Latin doesn't change. That's why church fathers in Christianity also, all the holy books were written in Latin. They were not allowed to go into vulgar languages like French and Italian. That was a much later on they allowed it to happen so that ordinary people also can have access to it.
So we were talking like the other day. I mean, if you look at the plays, if you look at Shakuntala, if you look at any of Basa, any of that stuff, there's so much Prakrit. There's more Prakrit than Sanskrit.
Absolutely, it's completely Sanskritization became the obsession of these Brahmins because that was the one way of making a living for them. And having done that for the text, it will apply to the place names also, Pura, Grama, all that use, etc., etc. So, so what I'm really saying is that originally, Banaras was the word used by the in Banaras. See the word Banaras? Banaras is a Deshi word.
I know.
They tried Varanasi.
Yeah.
Because originally the word is Varna and Asi. These are the two rivers that flow.
Yeah.
So Varna, Asi, Varanasi.
Beach mein Banaras.
Varanasi became Banaras verb. But then they turned it into Varanasi, return it to original, etc.
Yeah.
So Sanskritization is the first basis. Number two, all turn prose into verses, shloka.
Right.
So that easy to remember.
Versification.
Dictionary, Abarakosha is in dictionary Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, the 10 I still remember the words taught to me. Ramo Hari Kari Bhrubhrut. Ramo Hari Kari Bhrubhrut. Chandramaha. Chandrama. Dashaite Pumsi Nayakaha. These are the 10 in the male. Ramaha Pullinga.
Yeah.
Ramaha Hari Kari Bhrubhrut. Bhanush Chandramaha, something like that. Dashayete Pumsi Nayaka. So the Bhanu Bhanavaha. Ramaha Ramav Ramaha. Like that.
Yeah.
Ramo Hari Haraya. Ramo Hari Kari Bhrubhrut. Bhanush Chandramaha. Then comes the last line is Dashaite Pumsi Nayakaha. These are the 10. This was taught to me when I was 7 years old. My father taught to me.
So 90 years ago?
Yeah, I would say. My father taught me these first verses in Sanskrit.
Your grandfather?
My father.
Your father?
My father taught me Sanskrit. Beginning enough.
I mean, I remember once you told me, like, what age were you reading Kalidasa?
That was Kalidas is a little later on, but this was elementary Sanskrit students, very beginning. So you have to teach Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha.
Right.
But then when it comes to Hari, you can't say Hari Haraha.
No.
So Hari Harayaha. So Ramo Hari Kari Bhrubhrut Bhanu Krishna Chandramaha, something like that. These are the 10 different classes of among the Pullinga.
Yeah.
So for the Sri also similarly one Nadi, etc.
Yeah.
So by making shloka, it's easy to remember All Vedas are in shloka,
Mm-hmm.
not prose. Brahmanas are in prose,
Right.
but not shloka. So Sanskritization of all spoken, number one, Prakrit. Within Sanskrit, versification of the Gadya. There is no Gadya in Sanskrit at all other than Kadambari.
Right.
Or in the dramas wherever there is people speak.
Right.
Gadya work doesn't exist. Shloka, everything is shloka. Amara Kosha,
Right.
shloka.
Right.
All Vaidyakiya thing is in Shostra. Shunti, this and that, all. It's not in Gadya, it's all in shloka.
Yeah.
Because easy to remember.
Yeah.
So, Prakriti into Sanskrit, Gadya into shloka. And later on time came, shloka becomes very specific because of the meter, etc. Sutras, small short sentences.
Yeah.
And these sutras were started by Panini, as we saw. Rasam Lagu, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very short sentences, you could remember.
Yeah.
So sutras became so Tattvartha Sutra, Jainas have. So Vaisheshika Sutras, Nyaya Sutras of Gautama, Vaisheshika Sutras of, and Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So the sutra became very easy to remember now.
Yeah.
See, I remember first chapter of the Tattvartha Sutra. Tattva Sutra begins with moksha-marga. Darshana jnana charitrani moksha-marga. Samyak darshana jnana charitrani moksha-marga. Samyak darshana, samyak jnana, samyak charitrani moksha-marga. So, why samyak? Others also have darshana charitra, etc. But their darshana charitra is not samyak.
Yeah.
So, samyak, without samyak, that darshan charitra has no meaning.
Yeah.
Why darshan, samyak darshan jnana charitrani moksha-marga? You got charitrani, you should have said moksha-margaha. Moksha-marga, three together make moksha-marga.
Yeah.
So that's the first. Samyak darshan jnana charitrani moksha-marga. This is the first moksha-marga. So there is no debate about moksha.
Right.
There is a debate about marga of moksha.
Exactly.
Vivada marga, not about others. Everyone believes moksha means freedom from samsara. No more rebirth.
Right.
Not loss, not annihilation of the soul, which the accused Buddhists are claiming. Because in Nirvana they don't say anything what remains.
Right.
That's it. There are panchaskandhas, they are gone. They don't come together again.
Yeah.
So if they don't come together, Rupa, Vedana, Samjna, Samskara, Vijnana. These are the five skandhas. Rupa is body. Vedana, Sukha, Dukkha. Samjna, Panchindriyas, perception. Samskaras are all the Krodha, Mana, Maya, Lobha, this and that and all that, Daya, Kshama, Shanti, all these are samskaras. There are various forces within them. And Vijnana, the knowing of that is. So all these five are held together from beginningless times. They do not operate separately. Eka Utpada, simultaneously they rise together, five. Which five? Rupa, Vedana, Samjna, Samskara, Vijnana. Eka Utpada, Nirodha, and when they go, they all five go together. Not that one goes and one after another, no, they all five immediately go. They rise together, Eka Utpada, Eka Nirodha, Eka Alamban, and all five are the same object. It's not that Vedana is having this object and Vijnana is having that.
Right.
Eka Upada Nirodha, this is Pali. Eka Alambana Vastuka, and one object only. Alambana means which sense you are using, eye or ear or nose or tongue. So these are the five indriyas, isn't it? Sparsha, Rasa, Grahana, Jiva, Kaya. So at one time, all five are on Kaya. All five are on this and that.
Right.
So it's not that while the Vijnana is thinking of Kaya, Vedana is thinking of something else. It's not that. They're all five concentrated on the same object with the same sense organ used. So, Ekupada, Nirodhacha, Eka Alambana, Eka Vastuka means object. These are the Pancha Dharmas. They don't use the word dharma, these are the five dharmas. They don't have the word dravya at all.
Right.
The dravya is a kalpana of, there is a substance to which all qualities belong. They don't have substance, they don't believe in substance at all. If there are no substance of dravya, there is guna also. So what is there? Simply dharma. Each thing is, Vedana is a dharma, force. Samjna, but what brings them together and holds them together? That's anadi.
Yeah, they don't explain that.
That's anadi. Because if it is anadi, you can't say it began.
Right.
From the beginningless time, there was never a time when they were not together. That's the answer. So if your question now, then who put them together?
Yeah.
When all meaningless, because they were never separated.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are never separated, then this question now, but somebody must have put them together, namely Ishvara. Well, then in that case, criticize Ishvara. Who put the Ishvara there? Ishvara is on his own. Well, in that case, same way these dharmas are also on their own.
Exactly. That would be the argument.
So the same thing comes back to. So Buddhists have no answer for that. But one thing is that these five always operate. Eka utpada, eka nirodha, eka alambana, eka vastu. Panchayate dharmaha, bas. They are dharmas and they are always together functioning. This is all samsara is nothing but repetition of the same thing going on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But karta karma, they don't have that.
Right.
The karta, there is dukkha, sorrow, but there is nobody. Dukkha masti, na dukkhito. So knowing is there.
Yeah.
There is no knower other than knowing.
Right.
We imagine there must be a knower because of our language demands that language must have a karta, karma, karana. So those are linguistic practices we imposed upon reality. I went there.
Right.
Reality is going is real, but I is not real. And therefore from went comes from the going. That's all.
That's it.
There, here, these are all relative terms. It has no meaning. What is there for you is here for the person there. So, all these are linguistic practices imposed upon reality. Reality does not correspond to our imagination. There is a basis there, but upon which we have. So, the idea that, say for instance, the line of the ants, when they go in a line, one by one. Don't step on the line, we say. Line is imagined, ants are real. So everything constructed is imaginary. House is not real. It was not there before. When you demolish it, it will not be there. Yeah. So it is not real. It's a construction.
It's a construct. Yeah.
All of these, our things are all woman, man is construction only.
Yeah. So, oftentimes people critique Buddha for not answering the difficult questions.
Yeah, but why answer?
Exactly. That's what I want to.
Question is that your questions arise out of your
Ignorance.
curiosity. Yeah. Curiosity itself is the dukkha.
Exactly.
Jijnasa is the last to go.
Yeah,
you want to know where you are going.
Yeah.
That's the one I will be asking myself when I can ask myself exactly where I think I'm going headed after this. Where can I go? According to the Jains or according to the Christianity, etc. Nowhere until the day of judgment. Then all of a sudden, just as I am, will appear. And then even Christians have made it even clear that God does not tell you are going to hell or you are going to heaven. You yourself tell, knowing what you have done. Magic is there that on that day, it appears to you, I have done this wrong, therefore I deserve to be sent to the number 4th hell.
Wow.
I have killed somebody, I must go to the 7th hell. There are 7 hells. And so you yourself are going to punish. God does not punish. Yourself, it will dawn on you. And if you are really meritorious, etc., it will dawn on you. And then you'll go up in the angels or whatever there is. In other words, they removed God's agency in that. All they said that this is much later on when God had to be abandoned from the cruelty of this. Because why can't God forgive them? Why can't simply let them go? God doesn't do anything. This is the law. Yeah. When you are assembled there, automatically you will know what wrong you did and what is the punishment for that. And you will not grudge it. You will know I deserve it. And you go. Period. This is a much, much later, where, in fact, there is a book called The In Search of God.
Is it there?
Yeah, you have take that book if you want to.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, take it, read it. It's very good.
I will. You
Yeah.
told me about it last time.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that among the Indians, this discussion doesn't appear anywhere. In the discussions, because the Ishvara, etc., which is the Parameshwara, once you have got Ishvara Shiva, Shiva is also subject to the same laws.
Mm-hmm.
She has Parvati, she has this and that and all that and all that. She's like a human being.